Hello everyone! We are so excited to be here. I'm Yvonne from America First, and I'm here with Zach, also from America First. He is our resident pumpkin carver, and we are going to be talking about all things pumpkin carving. Where do we want to start? How long have you been doing this?
We've been putting videos on social media for the last 5 years.
We've got cool hyperlapse to see, because it's a really long process.
It is. Like, you know, the giants, and they'll range anywhere from, the smallest one we've carved is around 850 pounds.
Small.
And the biggest one we've ever carved was about 1,974 pounds.
Wow.
So almost 2,000 pounds. It was incredible. Wow. But they'll take hours to carve. 10 was probably the quickest one we've ever done. 10 hours. Up to about 15 hours.
So what time do you usually get to Station Park to start carving?
We'll get there and get set up around 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And then we'll finish well into the evening.
So we've got tools here. You talked about picking the pumpkin.
Yeah. On the big ones, you know, you kind of have to go meet the pumpkin to see what you have to work with. Because when you're sculpting pumpkins, you don't get just a blank canvas to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You've got the shape and the thickness, the ribs and things on those giant ones. They're all unique, and so you have to go meet the pumpkin, I like to say, and kind of look at it and see what you can see in it.
Yeah.
And then what I typically do is I'll go and start sketching things, you know, and do drawings. I take the shape of that pumpkin and I'll draw drawings over the top of that, just to see what kind of ideas might pop into my head.
All right, let's go over your tools. Tell me what you've got here.
All right, so the primary tool we use, you know, again, after we draw with the marker onto the pumpkin, is this thing called a ribbon cutter.
Okay.
And you can pick these up at most craft stores, and they're made for ceramics and for like sculpting with clay and things like that, but you use them just like a vegetable peeler. And I'll demonstrate that in just a little bit, but that's just how you kind of just scrape at the pumpkin. And one of the tricks is, you know, you'll see how slow it kind of goes, just peeling off one little ribbon at a time. Mm-hmm. That's how you cannot puncture through the pumpkin, is because you're just taking off a little bit at a time, which is part of why it takes 10, 13 hours, you know, to do some of these pumpkins and to go through with the carves. So you just carve off a little bit at a time. These are also ribbon cutters. They're just different shapes, and they have different heads on them so that you can do
more detail
and things like that.
Okay.
Got knives, you know, obviously. And
so how long have you had these? These look really high quality.
These are some newer ones that I've had. I used these last season. They still got a little pumpkin on them. But, you know, when we do those large pumpkins, we'll end up going through at least a half a dozen of those, because the heads, as you're pulling on it, as many strokes as you're pulling into those pumpkins,
rips the top off?
Just pulls the top right off eventually. So
are they expensive?
Nah, they're just a few bucks.
Oh, okay. Not bad at all. Okay.
Yep, you can pick them up at most craft stores, like I said, like the Hobby Lobbies, Michael's, Ben Franklin's, those kinds of places. Okay. You can also get them on Amazon. It's usually where I get mine. So
online.
As you're sculpting, if the flesh dries out, you'll sometimes tear it and get a little bit more out than you want. And so if you can keep it moistened with some water and just keep it sprayed down, that helps you to just have a nice surface to work on, and it glides through a little bit easier.
And then
the mirror.
You've got yourself a mirror here.
When you do faces and things, it's good to have a mirror with you, because you don't have to pull everything from your memory. You can look at yourself and pull the face that you're trying to carve, and it helps you to be able to have a point of reference. Sure. You know, to be able to get the folds in your skin and the way the wrinkles and things all form, to make it more realistic and more accurate. So I keep a mirror in my kit just to be able to pull that out and look.
I like it.
So yeah, let's come around to the front and we'll shave the face off of this one and get started. I'll just show you quick again, like some of the techniques with this ribbon cutter and how we prep the pumpkin, how we get going with it. So, you know, if we're gonna come in,
you washed it down first, right?
Yeah, you wipe it down.
Wipe it down.
It doesn't matter, you're gonna take most of it off, but you know, let's come in and maybe draw a little face. You know, just for demonstration purposes.
That shows up a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, and you can see what's going on with it, but then if you leave some of that on there, when you're especially doing jack-o'-lanterns and things, it's okay. Like it's close enough in color that it doesn't matter. Yeah. So that's just a nice little tip or trick for drawing those faces and things on there. Then you take the ribbon cutter and you just hold it like this, and you literally just kind of peel at it. Just kind of push a little bit lighter.
Okay, yeah.
And it just starts to,
You don't have to use hardly any force at all.
no, not much once you get inside of it. You have to use a bit of force to pull the skin off the
layer
outside.
off? Okay.
That's pretty tough. You can see how it catches the blade there.
Yeah.
But once that's gone, you start to kind of loosen up.
Okay.
And then, you know, with a pumpkin of this size, you can go to one of these tools, or you can just use the corner of this tool.
Okay.
See that head's starting to pull off on that guy. And you kind of do the same thing to just kind of sketch in again, but now you're sketching with cutting. So
Okay.
maybe we'll do just got a big giant eyeball with this one. And just kind of draw
That's cool.
stuff in.
It's like a Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, big Mike Wazowski eyeball. So some of the tricks when you're doing a face, and again, we don't have time to do a full face to show everybody, but you know, in some of the photos that we'll show in the video here, one thing to remember is your highest point out you need to leave room for is your nose, the tip of your nose. So wherever that nose is going to be, you want to leave that
The highest.
as high out as you can.
Here.
You can use this, you can see how like this will also kind of cut away bigger pieces, almost like a melon baller,
Yeah.
you know, so you can really kind of get in there. You see that flesh are really changing there as we're getting in. And we're going to take this one, again, we normally don't want to go all the way through, but just for the demonstration and to show the darker colors, we're going to take this one right in. You know, and this is kind of quick what we're doing here for demonstration, but you can really get in and again, look at more details on your own eye and, you know, get more of the wrinkles correct and all those kinds of things. But, you know, just to show quickly, you know, this is how it works. So, anyway,
There we go.
that's kind of just a quick demonstration of how these tools work.
I like it.
Again, there's a lot of different references and resources online for how to do this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, go check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
So
wouldn't
then
mind
for
trying that.
this, for most families, you know, again, there's some pumpkins that we can do that are more jack-o'-lantern style, but we can use some of these sculpting techniques like to shape teeth, for example, right?
okay.
So let's cut this guy open,
Okay. What do we need?
and we're gonna need this knife here. And one of the things that I usually do too, everybody's been doing jack-o'-lanterns for years, right? But one of the things that we'll do is kind of leave a notch in the opening,
Okay.
and then cut at an angle so it doesn't drop in.
Here, I'll let you get
But
in
that
there.
notch will allow us to know right where that thing's supposed to sit, so you don't have
Okay.
to roll it around trying to find where that went.
Yeah. We've got it all cleaned out.
Okay, yeah, so we got this all cleaned out.
Movie magic.
Movie magic. So let's draw just a quick face on here. And what you'll want to do is kind of leave this part for we can sculpt around that eye for a pupil. We can do that where we actually sculpt it in, but we want to make sure we don't cut that out when we're cutting this in. So we'll draw a couple of eyeballs here. So we'll take this guy here now and cut our eye out. Switch this bigger knife for this mouth. Pop that out. And you've got your basic face. So then what you can do is come in with these tools and kind of finish drawing that line for the mouth there, right?
Okay.
And you just scrape that skin off.
Oh my goodness. That's fun. I want to buy some of these tools.
They're fun, huh?
I want to do this.
And if you've got the advantage here is you've got the thickness now you can see. On this kind you can't go all the way through.
Right.
Here you're already through, so you can bring that tooth back quite a ways because you've got enough of the pumpkin meat there. So you've got this other tool. It's got the flat side right here. You just come in, just carve that back.
So neat.
And then bring your line really nice and tight along where we cut the mouth in, the shape. You can kind of round the edges a little bit. Kind of a fun looking way to do teeth.
Yeah, that's
And then you can do
adorable.
the same thing with the eyeballs. Where you could kind of come around and carve in.
That's cool looking.
Can you give it a shot?
Sure.
Just kind of pull
I don't know if
on
I
it.
can feel my hands. Oh, it would be easy to want to spend a lot of time doing detail using this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Fun, huh?
Yeah.
So we can work on kind of making it symmetrical to one another. And again, it's just a matter of how much time you want to spend on it. But
So the shaving you're doing now is making this the hybrid.
yeah,
It's
this
like
is kind of
the
that hybrid, right?
Sculpting.
So using a little bit of sculpting with some traditional a jack-o'-lantern cut, but it gives us this fun little shape, this fun different way to do a jack-o'-lantern. And as this dries out too, it's kind of fun because the teeth and the eyes will shrink down a little bit different from everything else.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a fun, different approach to doing a jack-o'-lantern. And again, these tools are pretty accessible in most craft stores, and they're pretty simple to use. So
Awesome.
hope everybody goes and has some fun with their pumpkins this
Yeah.
year. We're excited to see what people do. I love going around and seeing what everybody has on their front porches, but 'tis the season.
Yeah.
I'm excited for pumpkins.
Thanks for teaching us how to do this.
You bet, my pleasure.
I'm excited to see you at Station Park.